Boa noite, aqui é a Márcia Silveira, diretamente de Portugal, e eu vou estar trazendo um vídeo para a gente reagir aqui nos comentários, que o presidente da Google do Brasil dá uma entrevista, a qual fala que o Brasil é a grande potência e a mais avançada economia digital da Latam. E para a gente conhecer e ficar bem informado quanto o tão grande e influente é o Brasil. E espero que vocês compartilhem aqui suas opiniões com a educação. Não deixe de compartilhar o vídeo e dar like também. Muito obrigada e até o próximo vídeo.
Brazil President Pablo Coelho, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Jabana.
Let me just start off by talking about the Brazil landscape as a whole. Brazil is probably the most advanced digital economy in all of Latin America. What circumstances have allowed for that to happen?
Well, first, it's a large market. We have 200+ million people. Second, it's a country that has suffered through inflation until the 90s, which drove a lot of the automation, and then the technology was employed to make sure that people would make the most out of their money, be that the financial sector or users. And third, because Brazilians are extremely entrepreneurs, our platforms have a very good relationship with Brazilians.
What role do you see specifically for Google in terms of driving the digital transformation right now in the country?
One is to empower citizens. We have our platforms here are top 5 in the world for most of them. Brazilians have a love affair with technology and with Google platforms. YouTube, for example, is a success. Also, it's important that we're able to empower business to be able to become more efficient. Efficiency in an economy like the Brazilian one, which is an emerging market, is also pretty important. And we have now Brazilians very eager to adopt AI as the next wave of technology, and they're very optimistic about the use of AI.
Yeah, well, let me ask you about that, because on one hand, AI can increase efficiencies, increase productivity, but on the other hand, there are also concerns about privacy, about data protection. So how do you see the path forward for AI?
Well, I think it starts with the right principles. We need to be bold and at the same time responsible about the use of AI. Google has adhered to the ethical principles of AI utilization, which is important. And third, very important, is to have a dialogue around society to make sure that regulations are in place, but in a way that they are discussed with the society. We have the Brazil Marco Civil, which is the Internet Framework Bill. It's now celebrating 10 years of existence, and that was a very good example of how to conduct a process to create regulations. We involve the society, we involve businesses, developers, politicians, and we get to the best model in such emerging technology.
Well, there was a high-profile case recently in Brazil of a tit-for-tat that went on between Elon Musk's X platform and the Brazilian regulator over concerns about dissemination of fake news and of hate speech. Specifically, what is Google doing to combat the proliferation of all of that, of hate speech, of disinformation, of fake news? What guardrails do you have in place?
I think the most important thing is, one, we have to respect the law, so we fight and we remove anything that is related to hate crime, racism, violence, all types of crimes that we need to adhere to the law. That's a basic. Then we have platform rules, and then we invest in good content, quality content. We have partnerships in Brazil with more than 175 publishers, because good content needs to go up to be able to show that we educate consumers, we help consumers to get the best out of the platforms. Bad content needs to either be deprioritized, or in cases where we see reason and justice sees reason, we remove that.
Let me just ask you then, in Brazil specifically, do you think the regulator is getting the balance right between innovation and safeguarding consumers?
We have been very pleased with our relationship with the regulators. We have been involved in dialogues. Every time we have the chance to discuss, we work together with the Supreme Court, with the Electoral Court, with the Senate, with the lower house, to make sure that we all understand and come to a common denominator. This is important because this is new, and we need to make sure that in a way we get the responsible approach, but we do not castrate the ecosystem of innovation and development, which is so important in Brazil. Let me finish that by saying we have Google has helped with a campus that we have in São Paulo for the last 8 years. We have accelerated 450 companies here. So it means that there is a very entrepreneurial group in Brazil, and we want to make sure it stays that way.
Great, that's a good place to leave it. Pablo Coelho, the Google president over here.
E aí, gente, espero que vocês agora saibam que não é só da boca de todos, é da boca de quem é especialista, que realmente o Brasil é uma potência, tanto digital como em várias áreas, e incluindo alimentação, tecnologia, enfim, realmente em várias áreas que ela é muito desenvolvida e muito, muito rica para todo o planeta. E espero que esse vídeo tenha contribuído para vocês. Um grande beijo para vocês, até o próximo vídeo. Não esqueçam de deixar like, que é muito importante.